Hello, friends. This is Khalil with a special message for you today. In the beginning of 2019, I was having lunch with a new friend, and it was supposed to be a business meeting, but God had other plans. We sat there and we shared and we talked about our lives and we talked about the struggles of being women in business and of being the only woman and minority in the room and the challenges that come with that. And as we sat there and talked, the Lord showed me a vision. And in this vision, I was standing in front of a room full of women. And the women were looking at me with eager anticipation to hear what I had to say. And the Lord stopped me and said, I need you to undress yourself before you speak to my sheep. And I had to think about that. And after I left that luncheon, I continued to meditate and pray on that vision. Undress myself. What does that mean, Lord? What does that mean? And I heard clearly the Lord said, my people are like sheep in wolf's clothing. Now, we've all heard the story of the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a childhood story. But think about that for a moment. The Lord said, my people are like sheep in wolf's clothing. And as I began to think about that and pray on it even further, the Lord showed me that He has allowed His people to ascend to high places in corporate America, in business, in this world, dressed in the wolf's clothing, because in order to ascend to these high places, you have to essentially enter a den of wolves. And He's allowed us to ascend to these high places in the sheep's clothing. But He has given us a commandment to undress ourselves. Show them who we are. He wants to send a message that He has sheep in high places. Now think about that for a moment. Think about all the negativity that we're seeing, particularly in America today and all over this world, where it seems like it is wolf season. The wolves are running the world and they're howling and they're inflicting pain and the negative energy is so bad. It is wolf season. But our Father has said we need to remove the wolf's clothing so that His people can see that He has sheep in high places. Now, what does that mean? So, I've often heard that once we ascend to certain places in corporate America and throughout, in society, we start to look down on each other. We don't help one another. We have this air about us like we have arrived. But I want you to think for a moment. What have you overcome to get there? What favor has the Lord given you? We didn't do it by ourselves. I didn't do it by myself. And you didn't do it by yourself. God says, undress yourself. Be open. Share your testimonies. It's our time to gather the sheep because it will not always be wolf season. And if you choose to not remove the wolf's clothing, when it's time for the sheep to be safe and covered, you're going to still look like a wolf. Now think about that for a moment. Let that settle in. Meditate on that. Pray on that. Are you walking around in the wolf's clothing? If so, I urge you to undress yourself. Peace and love.